Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to the Tommy John Show. As always, I am your co-host, Tommy Lane, my other partner in crime, Johnny Mishaws, and always our head commentator, gruesome Gavin Delaney.
Tommy, Johnny, thanks for having me along as well for an episode 5.
Absolutely. We are looking forward to it. We got a packed show today because for the first time in a while, something significant has happened in the world of sports.
Hallelujah.
So, but before we get to that, we would like to know, you can follow us on Instagram at The Tommy John Show. You can follow us on Twitter, on Facebook. As always, YouTube. Remember to like, comment, and smash that subscribe button. And Johnny, more videos will be coming the people's way.
For sure. We're going to have them out, I think, once a week now.
Absolutely.
We'll have them out, yeah.
Absolutely. And on that note, we will take it onto the sports. So, Gav, what happened that everyone's talking about right now in the world of sports?
Well, something big's happened. So,
Absolutely.
unless you've been living under a rock,
Mhm.
one thing that you know about summer that is different than most summers is that there ain't no baseball.
That is true.
There ain't no baseball, you know?
Mhm.
Right now, we'd be almost at the Midsummer Classic,
Right.
but now we're not. We have no season. People are asking, where's baseball? Well, now we know baseball is coming back.
Oh, yes.
Finally.
Oh, yes. Finally. And Gav, and Johnny, there was the players were the problem, right? The league wanted to get the season up and going, and the players said no. It comes down to money
Exactly.
and
I think
finance.
it was the players' issue. They kept saying, give us a time and a place, but then they would reject the deal. So it didn't
Right.
really make sense.
So, and the deal is, what a lot of people don't know is baseball players are probably the top paid athletes in North America. You think about it.
They're
Aside,
for sure top three,
average-wise. Because,
Yeah.
sure, the best quarterback in football gets paid handsomely, and the best hockey player in the world gets paid handsomely, and basketball players, there's less guys on a roster, they make a lot. But baseball contracts, if you look at the biggest contracts in history, baseball is always
sure.
number one, or top 5 is dominated by baseball. Stanton had the biggest contract. When A-Rod signed in the mid-2000s, it's always baseball. So the big deal was that baseball players wanted to have their full salary for playing a third of the games.
Right.
And Major League Baseball wasn't having that, as they should, because they are paid that money to play 162 games and the playoffs if their team makes it. Well, if you're playing 60 games, which is precisely 1/3, or maybe a bit less than 1/3.
A little less.
A little less, but like ballpark around 30-some-odd%,
A little
right?
more, actually, I think.
A little more.
My math
A little
is
more.
a bit,
Because we were thinking 50 games was the number
Yeah,
originally,
50 is
and
a
now they
third.
moved it to 60. So so let's say they said it's going to be between 60 and 50 games. Let's say they play 55, right? So
Sure.
ballpark between 60 and 50, it's a third of the season, give or take.
Right, give or take a bit, yeah, of course.
And they want to get the full salary. And the major leagues were not having it. So now, finally, they came to a deal, right, Johnny? And
Yeah, I think it's the prorated salary.
Exactly. And it'll be a 60 to 50 game season that will start July 1st with training camps, and then July 23rd, 24th, if I'm not mistaken, Gavin.
24th.
Yeah, that's
pretty
correct.
sure.
That the season opening day will kick off. So, thank God, obviously, because baseball nuts like ourselves are just counting down the days to opening day. But the one thing I'm not too sure is how the schedule's going to go. Are they going to do mostly division games? Are they going to do just what the last 60 games of the year were? I don't know.
At this point, I did hear a lot about how, for example, like the Yankees are playing, instead of their 40 games that they normally play against NL, they're just playing half that. So it's 20 games. Just like instead of 40 games versus the divisional opponents, they're playing half
Are
that.
they each playing at their stadiums too?
I think, I'm pretty sure they're playing in their respective stadiums, at least for now.
That's going to be weird seeing Yankee Stadium, Fenway, Wrigley with no fans. I mean, that's going to be a change of scenery.
Hopefully they'll put like cardboard cutouts or something.
Well, you saw what the South Korean league's doing, just putting
Right.
stuffed animals in the crowd. Who knows?
And it's not as unsettling. When I first heard that,
It's a little creepy.
It's weird at first,
Yeah.
but then as you watch it, baseball's baseball, man. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
like baseball, it could be played in an empty field for all.
No
I
one's
care.
at my baseball games.
Yeah, I've been playing in front of
for
empty.
good
Johnny and I've
reasons.
been playing in front of
Yeah.
empty stands for the past 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna be much different than our minor league games.
Yeah.
Who cares?
But
Yeah.
But what's going to be interesting is the UFC. When we were saying, "Oh, how's there going to be no fans of the UFC?" I actually don't mind it. I hear every punch that's landed. I find I'm more engaged And what I find, even when you're scoring fights or just in general, the crowd always cheers when the person they want to win does something.
Right.
Same in baseball, right?
Yeah, of course.
Like if a pitch is just outside,
You'll
the
hear
crowd freaks out, and maybe
Right.
the umpire changes his call. Who knows?
Exactly.
Now it's just the purest form of sports when there's no crowds getting involved. This is just team versus team. Albeit they'll be in another city, but there'd be maybe like 10 people in the crowd who are just working to.
I remember at the beginning of the pandemic, LeBron said that he didn't want to play in front of no fans, and I think that was
changed.
that was a bit of a knee-jerk reaction, because I don't think people realize that it's really not that bad without the fans.
Yeah.
It takes away the income, but it's really not that much of an issue.
We'll take sports when we get it. At this point,
For sure.
Being without it, we've been without baseball since the Nationals won the World Series in November, the first week of November, and
So long ago.
we should be halfway through the season. And while it was tough, I feel like the 60 games is really gonna help baseball, because we talked about this earlier. 162 games, even if you're diehard fans like all of us, you can't watch every baseball game. It's just impossible. It's just not gonna happen. And that's what kind of gets the young generation away from baseball. It's like, I can't keep track. It's every day.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there's double headers. How am I supposed to know? How am I supposed to follow this? Well, now 60 games. Trust me, from game one, every single game is going to matter. When there's 162, even if you get swept the first series, all right. I think the Nationals were like 19-31. The start of last year.
They came all the way back.
They came back and won the World Series. If you start 19-31 in this format, you're toast.
It's over.
You're toast. If you get onto a bad losing streak beginning of the year, not looking good. And it's the same playoff format too, I believe, right?
Yeah. Pretty sure there's one wild card game and then the division
So
winners.
that ain't good if you get off to a bad losing streak. But the other thing we get from this is maybe teams we weren't expecting to do well come out of the blocks on fire, and just because of the hot start, make the playoffs.
Yeah, baseball is a very streaky game. You could have a couple guys come out there and team no one expected to play well, go out there, hit a couple home runs, and then they're in first place all of a sudden.
Well, the real thing is we at the beginning of the year it was the Dodgers and the Yankees. That was it.
And then everyone else.
Everyone else. Now it's different, much different, because Mookie Betts going to the Dodgers. He hasn't played with the Dodgers at all. We've been in spring training, and that's it. And when you have 162 games, it's easy. After 30, 40, the chemistry's there. You can get on a run. 50, 60 games, I'm sorry. I'm not saying the Dodgers aren't going to win the World Series. They're probably going to be right there, but it just changes for a lot of teams.
He doesn't have that opportunity to get acclimatized on the team.
And if you had to go right now, are you still think it's going to be those two in the World Series, based on now?
It's hard to
Gav, you too?
give any other team.
I'm there with you guys. Yeah.
I don't know. I can't put the Yankees in the World Series. Just who I am.
Yeah, well, it's
But
not
I
the
think
Red Sox.
they're the odds-on favorites. I'll give you that. They are. That is for people think that the World Series, which would be great for baseball, would be New York, Los Angeles, Dodgers, Yankees, the biggest team in the National League, and dare I say one of the biggest teams on the planet, or brands on the planet, with the New York Yankees. So that would be great for baseball, because the TV ratings for baseball in the World Series have been down the last 3 years.
It's very true, yeah.
And if the two biggest cities in the country are in the World Series, you're going to get huge ratings. So even people who aren't the biggest baseball fans, they see Dodgers, Yankees, they might tune in.
Those are two really big markets.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be the Dodgers, I think everyone thinks it is right now. But again, the first few games will be a tell sign, because it's hard to switch. In baseball, it's a very streaky game. It's hard to go 5-15 with 50 games and make the playoffs, right?
It's very hard, yeah.
So, Gab, do you have anything to say about baseball coming back? I know you're a huge baseball guy.
Baseball guy. Well, I'm just excited to see, or curious rather, how the managers are gonna kind of play the game. When you have 162 games, you have plenty of time. You can play your players, you can give them rests, especially with some of your pitchers. You can have them pitch a full game or pretty close to that, and then sit out five complete games, and then come back later on in the week. But when you're playing 60 games, you're going to want to rest your arms as much as possible. Maybe starters aren't going to go as long. You're going to get a lot more use out of your relief pitchers, a lot more use out of your closers. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play to limit injuries, to limit fatigue with the shorter season. So I'm excited to see that.
That's
for sure.
That's what we're – sorry to cut you off, Johnny.
No
but
worries.
I was going to say if – are managers going to do that strategy, or are some managers going to go full-blown, we're pitching our starters every 3-4 nights because we only got 50 games and we want to go to the playoffs? Because if you pitch them once every 5, you don't get them as much in your rotation, right? Because that's based on 160 games. If it's 50 games, do you say, okay, do we rest them and have only our best pitcher once every 5 days, or do we get them in once every 4 or 3?
Well, what I would say is that they'll probably be the same amount of starts, just longer innings is what I would assume. More of a
Go deeper into the...
Yeah, unless, of course, they get hammered, but...
I think it's so many managers can do so many different things, which makes baseball great.
Yeah.
There's so many different managing styles. There
sure.
will be some who, you're right, Gav, will think, I'm going to rest my arms because I feel like my team's good enough to get to the playoffs and my arms will be rested. Then there's other teams who don't have the luxury of a great team but have a good pitching staff that can get you those starts every 4-3 days.
These 60 games changes the whole dynamic of the coaching.
And if you look in baseball, history has shown that pitching and defense wins you the World Series. You look at the Nationals, they lost Bryce Harper. They did lose firepower in the outfield, no question. They lost runs.
Big bat.
But what was their 2 best things? Pitching,
Scherzer and
Strasburg,
Scherzer
and those
Rendon.
pitchers, and Rendon, who's a tremendous defensive player.
Yeah.
I mean, Juan Soto did kind of fill that gap. He's got some.
Yeah, obviously you need runs or else you lose the game.
Yeah.
You don't have runs, you lose.
But no, I know what you mean. They really.
If you hold the team down, like Bryce Harper, would they have scored more runs? Probably. You get more hits with Bryce Harper. I'm not saying. I think Bryce. They still would have won the World Series. Yeah? I think so. Because the pitching was so good.
Yeah, it did have really good pitching. Who knows though? Who knows if Howie Kendrick gets that hit if
that's true.
If Bryce Harper's there.
Yeah.
Well, you don't know how the locker room reacts too, because you had everyone freaking out over Bryce Harper.
Exactly.
So you don't know. When you look in the Red Sox one, I think that was just an all-time great team. But their pitching was sensational. Sale was great. Price was great. Evaldi was great. I mean, and even when the Astros won, right?
Yeah,
I know, albeit there was an asterisk next to it. But their pitching was sensational.
Right. Yeah, well, they had Verlander, Greinke.
The other guy. Garrett Cole wasn't there yet. But I'm drawing a blank. You know,
who am I thinking of? Oh, Charlie Morton?
Yep, he was there. I mean, it was just an all-time great pitching team. And it's hard to win World Series games 11-10.
Yeah, not a lot of World Series games go that high.
It's really hard to win those kinds of games. It is pitching and defense. As much as we love hitting, as much as we love home runs, we don't see it as often in the playoffs, John.
Right. Well, yeah, like you said, Tommy, it's, the playoffs bring out the best in the players, and that's nothing different for the pitchers. You know, they're waiting the whole season for those games.
And baseball, what kind of gets in the dog days in July and August, a lot of players tend to cool down. I remember I watched the Long Gone Summer documentary. McGuire was on pace for like 80 home runs, but then he has that little stretch where he cools down because fatigue.
Right, it happens, yeah.
You get through 80, 90 games when you're going 100 miles an hour. Eventually you get tired. Now, no one's everyone's going to be rested, I assume.
Sure.
They've been off for almost a year.
Had extra months to recuperate, and the season's a third of the length.
So what do we think in that aspect? What do you think stats are going to look like in baseball? Through the roof?
Oh, no, I think they're going to – well, in terms of, like, for the 60 games, most likely. But
I'm talking about.
Yeah. I think for sure it's going to be inflation.
Like batting average is –
maybe not batting average, but like home runs, RBIs. Yeah.
Considering like people, if they play – a lot of people are going to use this. If they played a full season, you would have hit so-and-so.
Right.
But people tend to wear out.
Yeah, and you can never really use that argument.
The one player I've never seen wear out was Barry Bonds in 2001 or 2.
Why?
Yeah, the greatest hitter of all time, no question.
Yeah.
Hitting 73. It was averaging like At least. It was like 12 homers a month. It was ridiculous.
Only member of the 500 club.
Yeah, I learned a stat that yesterday. 500.
Yeah.
And he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Not in the Hall of Fame.
I mean, that's just insane.
Travesty.
We've already talked about this, right?
Yeah.
You know what? It's funny.
We did talk about this last episode.
We all unanimously agree that Barry Bonds should be in the Hall. He should be in Cooperstown.
He's if I had to make an all-time ballot, he's on it.
But I was speaking with some of my friends on my baseball team, and they disagree with us completely. They think there's no way
sour
that guy
grapes.
Sour. I mean,
grapes.
that's the thing. Like we said, people are going to disagree, but I think baseball fans, baseball writers, they just hate the fact that man took steroids.
Well,
they can't unsee that.
We talked about this, right? The writers vote on the MVPs, and they were in awe. Everyone knew Barry was on it. He was in his late 30s. He's hitting 70 homers a year. Everyone knew everyone was on it, but they were in awe of what he was doing, and they voted him to win all those MVPs.
I agree.
They knew he was on.
Yeah, and then
I don't care.
Hall of Fame comes around, and who cares?
He can eat. I don't care if he was juicing every day. If you hit 73 home runs and you don't win an MVP, it's the greatest hitting season ever.
It's ridiculous, yeah.
And even with Roger Clemens, 7 Cy Youngs, the writers vote on who wins Cy Youngs. And when it came down to it, they were in awe of what Roger Clemens was doing. And now he wants the validation of being in the mecca of baseball. And you could say he's a top 3 pitcher of all time. He might not be in there. Barry Bonds, in my opinion, the greatest hitter ever. Maybe the greatest baseball player ever, if you look at stats-wise.
Right.
He's not in the Hall of Fame. Sammy Sosa won't get in. Mark McGwire won't get in.
No.
All these guys of that era, the cream of the crop, just because they took steroids. Right. Albeit, there should be... I think the punishment should have been that they're not first ballot. Because first ballot Hall of Fame is... That is like... You look at the first ballot, it's like Ken Griffey, Derek Jeter, Mariano Rivera. Those guys are first ballot Hall of Fame.
Babe Ruth, Ty Cobb, those type of guys, yeah.
So if you want to punish those guys, like Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens not being first ballot, I understand. But to not have him in the Hall of Fame at all is insane.
For sure.
It is insane.
You can have the guy's bat.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say that.
But you can't have his face. It's like, come on.
They're like, here's Barry Bonds' record-breaking bat. They loved when Barry Bonds was in baseball because people were watching. Everyone loved watching
brought
Barry
in viewers, yeah.
They used Barry Bonds. They used Roger Clemens during that time to make money. And now they want to, like we say again, they want their ultimate validation in the Hall of Fame, and they won't give it to them. And it's the same writers who voted them to win Cy Youngs, MVPs, Silver Sluggers, all that, and now they won't put them in. It's kind of, and I get where people are coming from, where if you cheat, I'm sorry, you're not allowed in the Hall of Fame. What about I bet there's people who use cork bats who are in the Hall of Fame, pine tar. I'm
sure there's some cases of people who are in the Hall of Fame that never got caught or didn't make as big a deal about it. It's of course.
Well, there's people who are who we know who took steroids. Right. We know Jeff Bagwell took steroids. He's in the Hall of Fame. I mean, it's crazy how many. So our rule was, if you want to keep all of them out, fine.
Yeah, all of them or none of them. Right.
If you're telling me Jeff Bagwell's a Hall of Famer and Barry Bonds is not a Hall of Famer, I mean, and they both took steroids. Mm-hmm. It's known. If you look at Canseco's book, right? Jeff Bagwell was in it, and they still let him in. Mike Piazza was rumored to take steroids. We know David Ortiz probably took steroids, and David Ortiz is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Most likely.
And I'm the biggest Red Sox fan out there.
It must have pained you to say that, Tommy.
If David Ortiz is a first ballot Hall of Famer, then Barry Bonds should be 100% first ballot Hall of Fame. Yeah. So they got to be even on this stuff, and they're not.
That's the problem.
And
that's the issue, yeah.
And Pete Rose ain't in the Hall of Fame. This is what I think where baseball loses a bit of its credibility, right? The NFL and basketball and the NHL, at least they're consistent. Right? Like, if someone cheats, like Edelman got caught for using steroids, you get a 4-game suspension. And that was it.
Right. It's the same for every player.
Same for every player. There's rules and guidelines for each. You break the rules, you get suspended. You don't keep them out of the Hall of Fame.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's extreme, That's like repeated offenses over repeated offenses. It shouldn't be that high a punishment.
I know. And and during that time, steroids weren't illegal in baseball. There was no rule saying you cannot use steroids. people just thought it was a given, and you don't take a substance to improve your play. But a lot of people were saying, "Oh, it's to help me recover."
Yeah, there's a lot of
So, I don't know. Baseball's got to be consistent, and I feel like that's where they lose a lot of fans is when they're not consistent. You can say the commissioner Rob Manfred has been totally wishy-washy with all of his decision making, so that really hurts baseball. They had opportunities to change the game, make it better for the young fans, because the older generation, while they're still in, that's where they get their fans from and their TV ratings, because they still love baseball. But this new generation ain't crazy over baseball like the older ones, which is too bad. But I feel like it's such a great game. We can't wait for it to start again. And I feel like this pandemic might be the best thing to happen for Major League Baseball.
I agree. It's going to bring a whole lot more buzz to the sport, for sure.
And the shortened season will keep fans
for sure engaged.
Looking each day. It might be each day, but it's 60 games. There's 82 basketball games. There's 82 hockey games. And people are still into that. But with baseball, the 60 games, trust me, will do it wonders. And I think all of us agree on that point.
For sure. Wholeheartedly.
All right. So, Gav, what's next on the table for us?
As we know, baseball is coming back, right? So is the NBA, but so is the NHL. The NHL is coming back. But so we have the format, right? We've spoken about this. We were talking about this on the first episode. This is not new to us.
24 teams, yeah.
One thing that is not known yet is where these guys will play. So unlike baseball, these guys, kind of like the NBA, they're going to focus on one location or one hub city, as you will. One or two hub cities.
One for each conference.
One for each, so 2 hub cities, yeah. They have narrowed that list down to 6 cities, Tom.
There we go. 6. So, Gav, can you run us through which cities
are
in the running?
Absolutely. So, we have Las Vegas, Chicago, Los Angeles, Edmonton, Toronto, and Vancouver.
So, we got 3 from each.
Those all seem like pretty good places.
No, they're all great places. But the thing is, like, it's weird because you can't look at... You're not going to look at fan revenue. You're not going to look at ticket sales because no one's going. So I guess all you have to do is you're going to have to look at the number of cases in that area, the number of like projected cases that they're probably going to get. You got to look at the proximity to hotels or
you got the facilities.
Facilities, exactly. Because this is, I mean, a lot of teams are going to be in one spot.
Right.
So it has to be able to accommodate hundreds of people safely. So they got a lot of decision making to go.
For sure.
This is interesting because when you read out Chicago and Los Angeles, I was kind of surprised because that's the second and third biggest city in the United States. And usually in densely populated areas, that's where COVID's a hotspot. So when I heard LA and Chicago, I know LA spread out. It's massive.
Yeah, LA. I think LA's on the down low now, too.
Yeah. So, and Chicago, I was very surprised. I think they're going to do Vegas.
Vegas, yeah.
Because the UFC's been doing it at Vegas. They seem to be doing that great. And I feel like Vegas, there's so much going on. Like you said, Gav, the casinos are going to open up. The hotels are opening up. And it seems like Vegas was prepared, not to say prepared for the pandemic, but when the pandemic hit and the UFC came calling, they did all the precautions. And I think that would be a great spot for the NHL.
Right.
And
Gav, Vegas is it's a money-making town, right? They'll do whatever they can.
And the betting on hockey, too.
Exactly. Oh, that's going to be big.
That's going to be huge. Yeah, what did you want to say, Gav?
The thing with Vegas, though, is I think June 1st, the casinos opened up again. So Vegas was reopened to the public. And immediately, they had a spike in cases, up 50%. So, but that was at the beginning of the month. So hopefully they've been able to kind of work with that. Because Vegas, ideally, would be a great place. They've got a bunch of hotels, facilities, all in walking distance of the arena.
Right, yeah.
And you're right, like they put up the UFC fighters all the time, so I'm sure they have a decent thing in place for this. But with this recent spike in cases, that could change, so.
I feel like the UFC's been putting on events in Las Vegas basically every week now for the last month and a bit. And there seems to be hardly any problems, knock on wood, I hope that it stays that way. But it seems like they're doing a fine job of putting up these athletes.
Yeah.
And Las Vegas, like Gav, you live there, it's not as big and as condensed as Chicago and Los Angeles.
It's completely different. It's smaller, which would be great because they're going to get a lot less traffic. Like Vegas, if Vegas is closed, it's empty. You know, the only people that are in Vegas are the tourists. It's not like you have people walking to work or anything like that. In Chicago and LA, you've got residents patrolling the streets, walking around.
True,
It's
There's
always
skyscrapers
busy.
everywhere, office buildings.
Yeah, it could be a zombie apocalypse. The streets are going to be still crowded. Vegas, though, if the casinos are closed, it's going to be empty. So if they limit the amount of people in the casinos, they're going to have a lot of room to work with for these hockey players. So I think you're right. If the UFC can do it, the NHL can do it, right?
So that will be. We think that's gonna be one of the hub cities. There's gonna be a second one. I think they're gonna do one in Canada, one in the United States. So if we think Vegas is one, I don't think they should do it in Toronto. It's too big.
Too big.
Yeah, Toronto is
way too big.
Toronto's it's like Chicago. It's almost the same size.
It's a bit smaller.
A bit smaller, but it's only like if they're not gonna do it in Chicago, there's no way they do it in Toronto. So I can see them doing it in Edmonton, because it's the smallest of the 3 cities here. But if you're going just by size, then
I have a friend who lives out in Vancouver, and they're on the ball big time with COVID. Their cases are going down, and people are walking around like COVID's not even a thing, because they were on the ball from when it happened in mid-March, when all the lockdowns. They followed all the procedures, and now Vancouver's looking golden. I could easily see Vancouver. It's a bigger city than Edmonton, nowhere near the size of Toronto. So I think that'd be a good spot. There's nature all around you, so if players want to go out, there's more to do in Vancouver than in Edmonton.
Right.
I love Edmonton, good city. Edmonton is a bit more remote, right? I mean, there's probably not as many COVID cases there as in Toronto. I don't know the difference between Vancouver and Edmonton in COVID cases.
Probably not much.
Probably
honestly.
not much.
Yeah.
I think Vancouver would be a better bet. And I think, is Vancouver closer to Vegas than Edmonton is? Because for the final,
Are they both West Coast?
they're both on the west. Yeah, but Edmonton's far west, too. We forget how
Edmonton's on the
big.
It's on the ocean.
Isn't BC all the way at the west?
Vancouver's right on the
Everyone's
ocean.
on it,
Vancouver's right on the
My
ocean.
Canadian geography's not that good, but I know
Hey man,
it's
you know where BC is, man. That says a lot about it.
Vancouver is at the total opposite end of the country.
right.
And Edmonton, we forget. People think, oh, Edmonton's in the middle of Canada. Not really. It's farther west than people think. Canada's so damn big.
Oh yeah.
People forget we're bigger than the United States, for crying out loud. And Edmonton, while I feel like the COVID cases are small, I feel like for the players' sake, like there's not as many hotels or setups in Edmonton as there is in Vancouver.
It seems like Vancouver is a bigger city. It'll be
Yeah.
more prepared to host that than Edmonton would be.
Yeah, and I feel like both Vancouver's in the playoffs, right? I think Vancouver's in. Could be wrong, and I think Edmonton's
Not sure.
in.
I think you're
So
right.
I don't know. Theoretically, I think if there was no playoff team from the city, they would choose it. But I don't think that's how it works. But I really think that Vancouver would be a great spot, and Vegas would be a great spot. And like you said, they're both on the West Coast. I don't even think there's a time change, which is great.
I don't think so either. Yeah.
So I think it's a no-brainer. Toronto and Chicago and LA are just too big.
Too big, yeah.
Far too big. Vancouver's a perfect size. Big city, not absurdly big.
Right. Not too densely populated,
Yeah.
but still big enough that it can be prepared for everything.
No
that's gonna-
question. I feel like Vancouver's perfect size. I think even Montreal be too big?
Probably. And Montreal's like the worst cases too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Canada.
they could do it in Montreal, but it's just a case. It wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the fans might freak
Because
out.
the thing with Montreal is that, like, the Habs training facility and the rink is, like, so
miles
close.
apart.
Like,
Oh, it's in Brossard, right?
Right, yeah, it's right over the bridge.
Yeah, right over the
it's
bridge.
compared to some of the other teams who practice, like an hour outside the city, the rink is, like, if you really want, you could bike to it, honestly. So you could even have, like, there's 3-4 rinks there. So it would be ideal for, like, training purposes. But, again, the cases, it's just...
And how's it going to work? Are there going to be, like, 2 arenas in the area?
Well, 'cause
Like, in the World
Must
Juniors,
be,
they
yeah.
open like 2
Vegas could
arenas.
have 2 games going on at once. Because they have an
That'd be
AHL
ideal.
team coming, too.
That'd be ideal.
That
But
would
for
be
the
cool.
NHL's sake, I don't know if they want to do that. I don't know if they want to put 2 games on at the same
Probably
time.
not. For
Because then it
ratings.
splits the ratings.
Who knows how they're gonna fix the schedule out? It's
Because the
pretty true.
NBA, I don't think they put 2 games on at the same time, right?
I don't think so. I think the NBA they're all playing on one court. I could be wrong. I believe they're all they're all playing, but they're practicing on separate ones, but they're all playing on the same.
Well, NBA is easier. There's no Zamboni going across the ice.
Right.
You don't have to maintain the floor as much as an ice.
Yeah, you could have a game immediately after another one.
Right? I mean, they just got to mop the floor, and that's it.
Exactly, yeah.
So it's much easier for the NBA, for maintenance-wise, working against the NHL. So I'm very relieved the NHL is coming back as scheduled. I think they're in Phase 2 out of 4. Phase 3 is July 10th with training camps, which will be great. And also, I believe the NBA teams are starting to fly into Florida, getting ready for July 31st for the NBA to start up again. And we were reading earlier, the Raptors send a few people down to Fort Myers.
Right.
I know the Celtics send a few people down to Fort Myers. So teams are slowly coming in.
Right.
And Johnny, I can't wait, to be honest with you.
Tommy.
I mean, so what do we think? I know we made our predictions last time.
Yeah.
There's been more COVID cases being reported. Jokic, Malcolm Brogdon, like you said, that just happened a few minutes ago.
Did.
Do any of these COVID announcements for the NBA players change any of your thoughts on how the team might do?
Not really, because we still have 40 days before the season starts.
That's true. Yeah.
By even if someone gets it now, they'll have time to isolate and stay at the facilities and not expose themselves anymore. Like Jokic will be fine. Brogdon will be fine. I'm more worried about the players who they didn't want to come back, like Avery Bradley, Corey Brewer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we think about Avery Bradley? Because I remember him on the Celtics, a tremendous defender, and he made timely shots.
He did.
He can shoot threes. Losing him for the Lakers is big. I felt like he was going to be a huge piece in the playoffs.
Yeah, he was big on the defensive side for him.
No question. I remember Brad Stevens of the Celtics said he's one of the most tenacious defenders he's ever seen.
Right.
Amazing defender. And it didn't go his way with the Clippers and the Pistons, I think he was with before. But in L.A., LeBron raved about him. I mean, that's going to be a big loss. And now they're talking about J.R. Smith coming back.
Yes, they are. That's something.
The
guy hasn't. I think he's played 11 games since his last finals appearance.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Because JR in 2016 when the Cavs won was a huge part of the team. He made big shots. I remember in Game 7 he was hitting threes. Game 5, and that was the game I remember him at Oracle. He was just raining three-pointers. Like, it was insane. But then the last thing we remember about JR is him getting the rebound and not knowing the score and running the opposite way.
Running out the clock when it's a tie game.
I mean, that's a different series if that goes the other way. And albeit LeBron dropped 51. And after that game, I think everyone knew it was over.
Yeah.
That was their one game.
That was their only chance they had to really push a win there.
So, JR is just a high risk, high reward because when he's on the floor, he can easily get you 20 by just raining threes. However, his head gets in the way sometimes.
And he could also shoot 0 for 8.
He could easily shoot 0 for 8. But what other options for the Lakers are there? Avery Bradley's a huge piece that's just gone.
Right. They need another 3-and-D guard. And that's the best thing out there is J.R. Smith, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people. I think what he said, Ariza said he was staying home.
Yeah, Ariza, Corey Brewer.
Yeah, so there's a lot of people who are staying home.
Davis Bertrands.
Yeah. So hopefully we picked the Lakers. So for our bracket's sake, we hope JR.
We hope JR comes out there and.
We don't know. Well,
we hope it's JR on the Knicks. That's what we hope it.
Yeah,
like a resurgence of that JR.
We don't know if JR for sure is coming to the Lakers, but.
I don't see much other choice they could have, really.
There's rumors DeMarcus Cousins was going to get picked up by somebody.
I heard he's sitting out the rest of the season.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, my sources aren't as good as yours, Johnny. I heard, there's rumors DeMarcus Cousins might come back. Everyone's like, oh, my God. And then...
I heard he's rehabbing the rest of the season.
He's had bad luck. I mean, he was going to be one of the highest paid guys in basketball, and he gets injured. He was amazing that year in New Orleans. Oh, in Sacramento, he was insane.
Yeah.
And then he went to New Orleans, him and AD. And he was going off there, the Twin Towers, right?
Oh, yeah. That was a sick duo.
Then that injury killed him. The Golden State, he just didn't look like the same guy.
No.
And he gets injured again in Lakers camp. I mean,
it's a string of bad luck.
String of bad luck. But the Lakers obviously have a hole. They feel like JR can fill it. But one team that doesn't look like they have a hole right now is the Clippers. And we picked the Lakers over the Clippers. And Avery Bradley played a bigger role in that because we liked what the Lakers had off the bench. Because they had guys who can go in and get you buckets.
Yeah. Avery
Bradley hurts a little bit. Does the Lakers-Clippers series change for you that much with the loss of Avery Bradley?
Not really, honestly. Even if Avery Bradley went out there and dropped 10 points, 5 boards, whatever, that's like the best case scenario. It's not that much.
It's his defense that really helps.
That's the part that I think they're going to be lacking on. But if they get a guy like JR, even if they get, I think they signed Dion Waiters not that long ago too.
Yeah, off waivers.
Mm-hmm. And
Waiters off waivers.
Exactly, and if he comes back to health, he's a solid defender too.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. The Clippers obviously have Kawhi and they have Paul George, and then everyone freaked out when they got Morris. Mm-hmm. But Morris hasn't really done much with the Clippers. I thought he would have done more. Yeah. And they gave up a lot of assets for him.
Well, 20 points per game on the Knicks is not 20 points per game on any other team.
I think people looked, he's a ton. I remember him on Boston.
Right.
And everyone was Marcus Morris. He was all right in the beginning, but then near the end, when crunch time, he would be very passive. I remember he had an open shot to win the game, and he would just throw it to Kyrie or Gordon Hayward. Right. I mean, he's definitely a great defender, and he can hit timely threes. Basically the same thing as a bigger Avery Bradley almost.
Right.
But not as efficient on the defensive end. I feel like the Clippers, they're gonna need the bench, and they have a good bench, but they're really gonna, because Kawhi and Paul George can get you somewhere. But if you look at that Raptors team, they have a great bench, a decent starting five, but they had people that come off the bench, and they have that superstar. Exactly. They had that superstar in Kawhi Leonard. This Clippers team reminds me very much of that Raptors team. Albeit LeBron James and Anthony Davis weren't around then, and then that Warriors team got the worst luck maybe ever.
Very bad
in an
luck.
NBA Finals.
Very bad luck.
So, do you think the Clippers, I know you picked them in 5 last episode.
I did.
Is it even possible? Anything's possible.
Anything's possible. I still have the Lakers winning. I don't think it makes that much of a difference over it.
If you looked at the last time the Lakers and Clippers played, the Lakers looked unbelievable. Unbelievable. Right. I remember the Clippers beat them the first 2 times, but LeBron looked like a different animal. He knew that was a game that meant to. Imagine going 0-3 in the season series against the Clippers.
Oh, yeah, he wouldn't have allowed that.
No, sir. Him and Anthony Davis were a problem.
Right. Yeah.
And a lot of people aren't talking about Dwight Howard too.
He's been having a really solid, underrated season.
He's really been having a great season. And I know we're going on about the Lakers, but it seems anytime there's smoke, there's fire in the NBA. And that fire is always revolves around the Los Angeles Lakers, right?
Yeah, and also about the Clippers, one thing people forget is that Paul George didn't really play a lot this season, right?
No, he didn't.
Him and Kawhi didn't really have a chance to, learn how each other play, learn each other's styles, play off each other, They haven't had a chance to get the team chemistry up yet.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are definitely looking forward to that. In the East, Brogdon getting it. We still picked Miami over Indiana. But like you said, I feel like the cases are so far out from the season.
Right.
We got 40 days.
It won't be that. I don't think it's going to be that much of a difference.
Yeah.
Or that much of a factor.
Mm-hmm. No question. So we're looking forward to that.
Right.
So the other thing we're talking about, the difference, why some people prefer MMA to boxing, some people prefer boxing to MMA. The reason why I prefer boxing to MMA is because the thing I love the most about MMA is the boxing.
Right.
And I know in a boxing match, the one thing I don't have to worry about is people rolling around on the ground unless they've been knocked out cold.
Right.
There will be no wrestling and no jiu-jitsu. And I think everyone agrees the most exciting part of MMA is when they're standing and trading, right?
Right. But I still think... Sorry, Gab, go ahead.
No, yeah, I completely cut you off.
I was going to say, I think that the wrestling part does add another extra level. And, you have a lot of great moments because of that. I think that makes the sport even better.
It definitely makes it interesting, for sure. And the jiu-jitsu, it's cool to see.
It's boring.
It's boring if it goes on for a long time.
Oh, my God.
But it's cool to see some ground and pound here and there. It's cool to see an arm bar here and there.
Exactly.
Some of Ronda Rousey's arm bars were unreal. So it's cool to see that. But I totally agree with you guys. Like, if there's a fight where it's just rolling on the ground for 25 minutes compared to guys standing and trading, that's what I want to see.
Are you a boxing or an MMA guy?
I like a little bit of both, honestly. I like to think maybe more of I like boxing because of the action, but
That's
I like MMA, more of the wrestling because of like the technique of it, you know.
Well,
Like
I
the skill it
think
needs.
Gav, you're more of a MMA
Here's
guy
the thing.
over
Here's
boxing.
the thing with MMA. So, in boxing, boxing's 30. The longest a boxing match could go is 36 minutes. The longest an MMA fight can go is 25 minutes. So if you're into seeing things get done quickly, then I think MMA is the sport for you, because guys aren't gonna want to swing for the fences right away in the match. Like if in a boxing fight, if it's 36 minutes, they're gonna want to pace themselves. Unless you're Mike Tyson and you just want to get home. But in MMA, there's so many different factors. There's kicks, there's takedowns. I think if you're an MMA fighter, you have a lot more to kind of train for and a lot more to worry about. As for boxing, you can kind of focus on one little thing. So
The thing is the UFC, the best wrestlers and the best jiu-jitsu artists all go to MMA because
That's
or
where
the
the money
UFC, right? Because that's where the money is. The best strikers in the world, they don't go into MMA because they're boxing. And the best strikers, imagine if Canelo fought in the UFC and he was going against another stand-up guy. Canelo would knock he would just into another dimension he would hit him into. I think we can all agree on that. If it was, let's say who's a fight, let's say him versus Conor, wearing 4-ounce gloves. Who here thinks Conor McGregor beats Canelo Alvarez in a UFC fight if they're standing up?
in a UFC fight.
Wait, a UFC fight, but they're standing up.
I think Conor's winning.
Well,
any
is Conor?
UFC
But Conor ain't gonna take him to the ground. That's not what Conor does.
No. But Conor can kick him.
You think Conor McGregor would beat Canelo Alvarez
In an MMA fight? In an MMA fight.
I don't think
In a
so.
boxing
MMA
fight,
fight,
no.
yeah.
In an MMA fight, yes.
Yeah.
Because
No,
Conor McGregor is
I
one
don't
of the
think
best
so.
mixed martial artists.
It's like the same thing with the Floyd Mayweather McGregor thing in boxing.
If Floyd went into the octagon, Floyd would never walk.
But I'm saying Conor won't take him down. Conor doesn't take anybody down.
But Conor knows his opponent very well. If he knows his opponent doesn't have any takedown defense, he's gonna take down his opponent.
Okay, give Canelo 6 months of takedown defense.
Okay, still, I think.
I think Canelo destroys him.
In an MMA fight, no.
I don't know. Not an MMA fight.
You know, his boxing is so much better.
I know.
It's not even a.
I know it is, but there's more to MMA than that's the thing.
Well, I'm saying I'm picking the worst wrestler and the worst jiu-jitsu guy, maybe in the UFC.
Conor?
Conor's jiu-jitsu is not compared to the other guys.
He's not the
against the
worst
Tony
jiu-jitsu.
Fergusons. His wrestling compared to Khabib's. Are you serious?
He still trains at a high. Okay, no, I'm not comparing him to Khabib, but he still trains. Conor McGregor still trains jiu-jitsu at a high class level. He's not taking kids classes, you know.
I didn't say he was, but I'm saying he was. But when have you seen Conor McGregor use his jiu-jitsu?
You haven't.
When have you seen Conor McGregor use his wrestling against Khabib and he got mauled?
Well, obviously against Khabib, yeah, but
what is Conor McGregor's bread and butter? His background is boxing. Kremlin boxing is where he started. So Conor McGregor's game plan is not to take you to the ground and submit you. It isn't.
No, it is.
If you put Khabib versus Canelo, I think Khabib destroys him. But Conor McGregor, who I think is one of the greatest mixed martial artists ever, just because his boxing was so superior to everyone else's. But when you got the best pound-for-pound fighter in boxing going against Conor McGregor, how does Conor win that?
I agree. You're making good points, but here's why I think Conor would win that. Because Conor is gonna know his opponent.
Head kick?
He's gonna know his opponent. Probably. He's gonna know his opponent. He knows. Okay, this guy's a boxer. He can block my shots. Can he block my leg kicks? Can he block my kicks?
Canelo's faster. He's stronger.
Yeah.
His head movement's on another level.
But it's MMA and boxing are two different things.
Well, we saw that. Well, Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor was a decent fight.
Still, yeah, decent.
I got my money's worth.
It's easy to keep your head on your moving, right? If you don't have to worry about your legs or your chest, or you know what I'm saying.
I think Floyd Mayweather, if he went swinging for the fences, would have knocked him out earlier. But his plan was to get Conor tired, drag him into the later rounds.
Well,
after 25 minutes,
boxing,
he was gassed, knocked him out.
And that's what's made Floyd his money, though, because he's been doing that with some of the best boxers in the world for 20 years.
He's the best pure boxer of all time, Floyd Mayweather, no question. If you watch his defense and his movement's incredible. If Canelo fought Conor McGregor that night in a boxing ring, does that go around? Does it go 2 rounds? That was a washed-up Floyd Mayweather we saw.
That was boxing, though, right? Like,
In a boxing round, does Conor get out of a round against Canelo?
Probably not.
No
but if
chance.
you put it MMA,
no chance.
Yes.
I don't know.
That's the difference.
I don't know.
That's the difference.
I don't
it's the two
know.
sports.
From what I've seen Conor in the octagon, one of the best fighters.
Right.
But what does Conor do in the octagon?
In Conor, he knocks him out. But
what does Canelo do in the boxing ring?
Yeah, he knocks people out. But I think
and his boxing is far better than Conor McGregor's.
I just think
his jiu-jitsu's not up to snuff. That was my point.
I just think Conor's a brown belt, in jiu-jitsu. So it's not like he doesn't know what he's doing. He can still roll. Anyway, I think if you throw a boxer in the octagon, Conor, I know he's very confident in his boxing abilities. I hope his boxing coach in Kavanaugh would tell him, this guy doesn't know how to roll. He doesn't know how to wrestle. He doesn't know how to kick. Just do everything but box him, and you will win this fight.
But what he has to do is close the distance.
Yeah, and I think he could.
Where he could get torched if he tries to close the distance.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, we remember Conor against other UFC fighters and a washed-up Floyd Mayweather. If that was Floyd Mayweather of 5 years ago, he would have got his face jabbed off. And the thing is, it was smart. Floyd Mayweather's not a knockout artist. Floyd Mayweather is just the sweet science of boxing. I'm hitting you, you're not hitting me, and I'm going to win on points. Mm-hmm. And albeit he's made almost $1 billion doing that, not getting a loss.
Money Mayweather.
Canelo Alvarez is in there to kill you.
Right.
He's in there to kill you. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying... I think it's good. I think Canelo could beat him in an MMA fight. I'm not saying... Because... I'm not saying he's beating a Tony Ferguson, whose jiu-jitsu is on another level, or beating Khabib, because his wrestling's on another level. I'm saying there's stylistic matchups in the UFC where boxers could beat MMA artists in MMA.
I 100% understand what you're saying.
I think it's not even a question.
Great points, but I just think Conor. I mean, he's a mixed martial. We know he's a striker. And so,
he's a striker.
I mean, and we know anything can happen in MMA.
And
right?
he has one
anything
submission in his life.
I'm not saying that if these guys go for a fight, 100% Conor's getting knocked out by Canelo Alvarez in a mixed martial arts fight. I'm just saying Conor's a good enough mixed martial artist to be able to work his way around and use his strengths, other than striking, that Canelo doesn't necessarily know how to defend. And that's why I believe that. Yeah. I think 9 times out of 10, Conor's gonna beat.
I don't know.
To your point, Gav, if you give him 6 months to prepare, it's good. It's a lot of time to focus up on the things he's not as strong at, and to focus on what Canelo is bad at.
Well,
right?
The main point for me is, where does a fight start? On the feet.
Yeah,
starts on the feet. So Canelo Alvarez, I'm saying this is never going to happen. Like, John Jones makes $500,000 a fight. Canelo just made $40 million for a fight. So Canelo Alvarez is never going to step in an MMA ring because he's one of the highest paid athletes in the world, just beating up other boxers. Mm-hmm. So it's never going to happen. But we're just saying, theoretically, a fight starts. I love these hypothetical games. I think it's hilarious. And I think the fans like it too because, who could beat this? It's just fun.
For sure.
Canelo Alvarez we're just picking this right now because, like, Tyson Fury even talked about going into MMA. I don't think he will because he's making so much money being the best boxer in the world.
Yeah, it's quite a drop in the paycheck.
Yeah, I make $40 million a fight, and I'm gonna go and fight Stipe and make $500,000.
Right.
Come on, slap yourself. But I'm just saying, a fight starts on the feet, right? Mm-hmm. And Canelo Alvarez it's just a better not miles better boxer than Conor McGregor. It's not even the same planet. He's been a professional fighter since he's been 15.
Right.
So a fight starts on the feet, and if he's having 4-ounce gloves, does Conor even land a shot?
Probably.
It's definitely an interesting concept. It will be an interesting fight. I
don't think we appreciate how good of a pure boxer Canelo Alvarez is.
I don't think we appreciate how good of a mixed martial artist Conor McGregor is.
But I've seen him. We've seen him do that things.
We have, and we've seen him knock guys out, but he's knocking guys out so quickly. He doesn't exactly.
How'd he beat Aldo?
Knocked him out in 13 seconds, though. Come on.
But is Jose Aldo Canelo Alvarez?
No. But he was.
Hell no.
He was the Canelo Alvarez of the UFC at the time. He was
undefeated. But why? Because his takedowns were amazing. His wrestling was amazing. Eddie Alvarez is a wrestler. Pardon my French. No shit, he's gonna knock him out.
Right.
I mean, Cowboy Cerrone. He's a striker. He ain't Canelo Alvarez. No one's Canelo Alvarez in boxing.
Yeah, no one in MMA is going to compare.
In striking wise, all I'm saying is the only way Conor wins an MMA fight against Canelo Alvarez is if he submits him, right?
Right.
And what is Conor's last?
His jiu-jitsu is not strong enough for him to submit him.
His jiu-jitsu is not strong, is my point. It's not. Even
6
John
months to work on
Kavanaugh.
his
Yeah, that's what I'm
jiu-jitsu.
saying. You give him
6 months
6
to work on his
months.
jiu-jitsu. So Canelo in 6 months, he's got to learn.
All
mixed
Canelo,
martial
no,
arts.
what Canelo has to learn in 6 months is takedown defense. That's all he has to learn.
Okay, and all Conor has to learn is how to submit a guy.
He's got to hone up on
and he already
his,
knows how to do that somewhat.
He's already, like you say, he's already got a brown belt.
He's already got a brown belt. He's got to bring that up a notch, So, I don't know.
With Canelo, 6 months, what I would do, he doesn't have to work a day on boxing. He doesn't have to. Right? A day on He's been boxing his whole life at the highest level. Just work on his takedown defense. And if Conor can't take him down, I'm going to pull a Conor back. You know what? He's done.
Yeah.
Because he ain't going to, I'm telling you right now, he won't land a shot. He won't land a clean shot on Canelo Alvarez. But I bet my life Canelo Alvarez will land a clean shot. And Conor McGregor's my favorite fighter on the planet. He's Irish blood, love him. I'm a realist.
Well, I think it's one of those things where we'll never have a definitive answer.
It will never have a definitive answer on.
I think for now, we'll agree to disagree.
Do you think Conor wins?
I think Conor wins. I think...
but it's way closer in an MMA octagon than in a boxing.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a closer fight because boxing is an element of MMA, but you can't exactly kick people in a boxing ring. So you're taking stuff away from Conor by putting him in a boxing ring, but you're giving stuff to Canelo while putting him in an octagon. So it's definitely a closer fight in an octagon, but I still think McGregor wins.
I don't. I think McGregor's for sure the favorite in that fight in an octagon, but I'm saying it wouldn't surprise me at all if Canelo just starches him.
Right.
Yeah, but that could happen in anything. In
but
MMA,
name another striker that could starch Conor in the UFC.
That's why, because Conor is the best striker in the. I mean, I'm sure this guy all it takes is one shot, right? But
what striker has starched Conor on the feet? No one. No one, right? I'm saying Canelo Alvarez would starch him on the feet, because the one advantage Conor has in his MMA fights, right, is a better striker. In this fight, he's nowhere near the better striker.
He loses that advantage.
And what Conor likes to do, I don't even know how Conor I've never seen Conor go for a takedown. Ever.
We did
well,
once.
The thing is,
we did once versus Diaz, and he got choked out.
He got choked out.
Minutes
There you go.
well, the thing is, like, you take away...
Wouldn't surprise me if Canelo choked him out.
He just, both hands on his neck and wring his neck.
I know what I think Canelo would do if Canelo knocks him down. He would just do what Conor did to Nate Diaz too. Just, no, I'm not going after you. Right. I'm just kicking your tail on the feet.
That would be smart. Yep.
I mean... Right?
Yeah. The way I see it is that
I might be drinking the Kool-Aid big time of Canelo Alvarez, but he's the best boxer on the planet.
Right. I think because I think what it comes down to is, like you said, Canelo's obviously the better boxer.
No question.
Whereas McGregor's the better jiu-jitsu artist, right? He's better on the ground. Even if you say he's not that good, he's still better than Canelo is, obviously. So it comes down to who's better than the other guy at what. Is he better at boxing than McGregor is better at him than jiu-jitsu?
Yeah. Oh,
we'll see.
Definitely add that. But whoever can get to work quicker. If Conor can take him out at the beginning of the match and wear him down on the ground and show him things that Canelo has never seen before fighting on the streets of Mexico, then not that he fights on the streets of Mexico anymore. He's in
a palace.
He's in palaces, but
he's making $40 million a fight. He got the biggest sports contract ever.
No, what I'm saying is if he can show him something on the ground and tire him out and show him things that he's not used to, smothering his face with his shoulder.
Well, my point is, can he get him to the ground? That's my whole point.
That's the thing. That's why I said
because Conor doesn't do that.
Whoever can get to work quicker. If Canelo can starch him earlier on.
My point was it starts on the feet, and it's ain't when people said when Floyd Mayweather was fighting McGregor, he'd get starched. Yeah, because Floyd Mayweather is jab and move. You can only jab. You can't jab and move in MMA.
Right.
Yes. You can throw jabs, sure, but he ain't gonna knock Conor out, right? Because that's not his style. That is Canelo Alvarez's style. Canelo Alvarez is going out there. Right. He's amazing counterpuncher, and he hunts you, he stalks you. So the reason I say this, and people might think I'm crazy, but I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised. I think Conor's the favorite just because of his all-around game, which isn't, like we said, it isn't the greatest, but 6 months, assuming they work on it. Conor McGregor's for sure the favorite. But I'm saying it wouldn't surprise me if Canelo Alvarez starches him just because he's
a superior boxer. I agree with you there. I agree.
But I think it's closer than people think. Where Floyd Mayweather, I think Floyd Mayweather has no shot. That's just my opinion.
Enough.
All right, well, I think it's time for a little game, guys. What do you guys think?
Absolutely.
I think so
if that
too.
wasn't a game in itself.
If that wasn't a game, yeah, I'm already hyped up. So let's have some fun here. So today, we did the NBA predictions, like we said.
Oh, before that, one more
go
thing.
for it.
My last theoretical. Does Conor make it out of a round with Canelo in boxing?
In boxing, yeah.
Probably around
2?
I
3?
wouldn't go past 5 rounds, but I could see Conor bobbing and weaving, throwing some jabs in there, and then after it all, he's gonna get starched. But
Okay.
It's inevitable. It's just.
But I mean, Conor does have a chin. We know the one time he really got dropped is against Habib. So he does have a chin, but does he have a chin?
Habib drops, yeah.
Does he have exactly? Does he have a chin for Canelo? We don't know. So,
Probably not.
Probably not.
So yeah, onto the game.
Yeah, onto the
I just
game.
wanted
So-
to ask that. But do you think he gets out
Yeah.
of a round?
Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
he lasts 2
For sure.
Because
max.
it's not like Canelo. He's got knockout power, but
And his body shots are insane.
and his body I think last Christmas he fought that
Rocky Fielding.
British bloke. Yeah.
Rocky Fielding.
Yeah.
He start in 3 rounds. It wasn't even close.
Yeah, no, in 3 rounds with the body shot. The guy took a knee. So body shots though.
Yeah, he's the best body puncher in the world.
Yeah, so I don't know.
And he knocked out Kovalev.
He knocked out Kovalev. Yeah, so I say he makes it out of a round.
And the Triple G decisions were a bit questionable. We thought Triple G won the first, and the second one was really close. So he's been in there with the best of the best. Like, even fought Floyd Mayweather. That's his only loss. But that was when Floyd was Floyd.
Right.
So I think Conor would get out of a round in boxing. But you said, Gav, the body shots and then the combinations are just too
They would wear him out, and 5 rounds he could. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, we think he gets out of a round.
Yeah.
The feeling out process.
Yeah, exactly.
So now on to the game.
All right, on to the game. So I think
For real now.
last week.
For real. This is real.
Last week or the week before, we had some fun doing some NBA predictions. And there were some heated debates there whether or not who would win, whether the Rockets or the Nuggets would win. So let's bring that over.
Denver. We know Denver.
Let's bring that over to the gridiron, and we'll do the
Yes.
same thing, but the
Yes.
NFL predictions for this year's playoffs.
Absolutely. The fans love the predictions. And
But before,
we were going to keep them
yeah.
coming, Johnny.
Before we get into our predictions, I think we should read what we have on the board here. So you guys already, it's in ink. We can't forget this. You guys already have your predictions for the Super Bowl.
Well, I don't.
Okay,
I
you
have
just
my
have
NFC.
okay, yeah, but with Johnny
I
does.
have my Super
So
Bowl,
San
yeah.
Francisco versus Kansas City.
City.
If your predictions are anything different than that, you will be terminated from the show, and you were just
I
bringing down the
completely
credibility.
understand. Yeah.
We trust that you will be San Francisco versus Kansas City, and Tommy, we have the Buccaneers.
Against who we don't know. I'm a mystery in the AFC.
But you also have New England having a better season than the
Giants.
New York Giants. So are the Giants going to be in the postseason?
No.
Not postseason.
Oh,
Well, let's
excuse
find
me.
out.
Yeah,
Let's
very
find-
well
maybe
could
the
be.
Patriots
Extra
make
wild
it.
card.
Maybe the Patriots are 11-5, Giants are 10-6. Who knows?
You never know.
I'd be very surprised
I'm
if the
a
Patriots are
mystery.
11-5.
I'm a
but
mystery.
Tommy is
Stop spoiling
I'm just
yourself.
saying I'd be very surprised.
All right. So, Gav, can we walk us through? So, what Gav's going to do, I think is a good idea. He's going to go AFC. Who's going to win the AFC East? Who's going to win the AFC North, South,
Right.
West, you know what? And he's going to ask us who now 3 wildcard teams are.
Yep.
This is
Each team-
weird.
yeah.
This is really weird.
So they
And-
have changed the format from 12 teams to 14 teams.
Well, more football.
Right.
Don't hate that. So the first team gets a bye. One seed gets a bye.
Mhm.
So we'll go through the division winners, and then we'll enter
pick our
wild
wild
card,
cards.
and then we'll
Yeah.
go 1 through 7.
Sounds good.
And we'll do the same for the NFC,
Sure.
and then sounds good. All right, Gav.
Probably,
So
someone
AFC,
take this down too, Gav. Because
Can we get someone to take this down?
Okay,
Our
he's got it.
producer,
Our producer,
Kennedy,
Kennedy Lanes, yeah,
Perfect.
she's on that.
is taking these down. So we're gonna start with the AFC East, right?
Yeah, so let's start with the AFC East.
We got the Pats.
We have the Patriots, the Bills, the Jets, and the Dolphins. Who's making it out?
I think there's one choice here.
I'm
And Tommy's gonna hate me, but Buffalo.
I'm picking Buffalo as well.
Yeah.
I think Buffalo's looking good to make it out. Okay, so
And I hate and Gab, do you think the Bills are gonna get out? Or
I think so.
Biased? Are you biased to your
I mean,
Jets?
I could be biased, but I've been saying the Jets are gonna do really well after the draft. I'm always like, the Jets are looking great. We got this new guy. He's looking solid. And then
every year.
And then even last
right
year,
on cue.
Right on cue. Yeah, last year we came out of the gates very strong versus the Lions. Put up 50, I think. And then that was it.
The injuries, though.
So I'm not going to be biased
And mono.
yet because, honestly, they haven't given me much other than tears and a lot of hangovers.
Yeah.
So they haven't given me anything. Why would I give them this? I'm still a fan.
If
still a
only
diehard
you could
Jets
go
fan.
back and have a time machine to 1969, right?
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice. But I don't want to mess anything up.
The
like in Back to
Stones,
the Future,
Zeppelin,
so.
the Beatles, and the New York Jets winning the Super Bowl. All happened in 1969.
Anyway, but
Good old days.
The good old days.
I'm optimistic about the future, but not yet. Especially with our talks with Jamal, but we'll figure that out. So we all have Buffalo making it out of the first round.
Yeah. Now we got the North, AFC North.
And we have the AFC North, yeah. So we have the Ravens, the Steelers, the Browns, and the Bengals. Ooh, the Bengals are now a contender.
Ravens probably, but
Yeah.
I'm not as high on the Ravens as everyone else is.
Yeah, I gotta go Ravens too. I don't think
This
that.
division's a mess. Cleveland's interesting.
I like Cleveland for the wild card.
I have the
but I gotta
Ravens.
think about that.
I have the Ravens, but again, I'm not as high as everyone else is on the Ravens. They could easily prove me wrong. I've been wrong before. So now we got the AFC.
Now we got the AFC South. The Texans, the Titans, the Colts, and the Jaguars.
I'm going with the Titans. I think they have a formula, and they stuck to it last year.
Titans or Texans?
Well, the Texans
Yeah.
lost Hopkins.
That's what I'm debating. I would say Texans in a heartbeat, but they did lose DeAndre Hopkins, which is big.
We
right?
forget the Titans were a win away from the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
And they had the lead in that game, too,
Yeah,
against
but-
Kansas City.
So I've got the Titans.
Is Tannehill the quarterback of the future there, though?
No chance, but they have
Yeah.
arguably the best running back in football.
That's
Mike
true.
Vrabel is an amazing head coach, ex-Patriot. Have to throw that out there. And their defense is off the charts. I love what they did on defense. I feel like it's the Titans to lose right now. Deshaun Watson is amazing, but he had arguably the best receiver in football, just
Right.
taken away.
Right,
And a
yeah.
washed-up running back comes in. It's going to be interesting. We'll see
I
Deshaun
gotta
Watson.
I gotta go with Titans too, just because of the Hopkins thing. Can't lose something that big and not have some ramifications.
Well, if Deshaun, I'm not saying they could still make the playoffs. Remember, there's
they
three
could,
wild
they
cards.
could make the wild card, but I don't think they're winning the division.
Deshaun Watson, we're going to see how good Deshaun Watson is without arguably the best receiver in football in
Right.
DeAndre Hopkins. So we both got the Titans. Now we go all the way out west, right, Gav?
Yep, and we're going.
I mean, do we have to answer this?
No, I don't think so. Chiefs, Broncos, Raiders, or Chargers?
Chiefs.
Obviously.
The best player in football is Patrick Mahomes. Arguably one of the best coaches in football is Andy Reid. They're the reigning, defending Super Bowl champions. I like to forget about that, but I mean, it's Kansas City or us right now, right?
Pretty much. I think it's theirs to lose.
And the division's gotten better.
Mhm.
Drew Lock, I love Drew Lock. Denver's defense,
do love
Von
Drew Lock,
Miller,
too.
Bradley Chubb,
Yeah.
and they got high altitude. You never know.
Tyrod
The
Taylor.
Chargers,
Tyrod.
2 years ago, they
Yeah.
had the second best record in football. So who knows? And then the Raiders are a work in process. The Raiders I think, are a year away, 1 year away. So I think everyone's got Kansas City.
Mhm.
I think so.
So do you want us to rank who we think is going to be first, second seed, third seed?
yeah, we can do that. Sure.
Kansas City number 1?
Kansas City won.
Okay.
It was Buffalo, then who? Buffalo, Tennessee, and
Baltimore.
Baltimore. So yeah, then Baltimore 2, Buffalo 3, Tennessee 4.
You know what? I'm going to do the exact same.
Yeah, that's the
You know what?
safest.
We'll do like last time. We'll do the joint bracket.
Yeah, okay, let's do it.
Yeah. So we each. I agree with that. There's
Agree.
nothing
So-
I'd really change.
Chiefs, Ravens,
Bills.
Bills, Tennessee.
And now the fun part, the wild cards.
Right.
Let's go through it. Do you think in the East, New England? It's gonna be
Maybe.
close.
I say maybe the Jets, but
Really?
well, you never know. Like they haven't said they've been poised for a while now, but there's a
Yeah.
lot of big ifs.
Johnny, wow.
Big ifs.
You know,
You
I'm
have
blushing.
the Jets over the Pats?
I'm blushing.
I would have the Jets over the Pats. Yeah. Sorry, Tony.
I'm debating. Let's come back to me on that one.
I'm
Can we
gonna
go
say
to the
Jets
North?
as well, John.
I think the
Yeah.
Browns are going to be a wild card
Yeah,
team.
for sure.
There's just 7 teams now. So I think the Browns are going to get in.
Yeah.
You?
I think for me, my wild card is Jets, Browns, Texans. I think that's what it's gonna have to be.
I like Denver a lot.
You like Denver, really?
There's 7 teams. It's hard to.
That's
What about
true.
Pittsburgh if Big Ben comes back?
I don't
Their
think
defense
Pittsburgh's
is
got it.
great.
I don't think they got it though.
Okay, now this is where it all gets messed up.
Yeah.
We're doing a joint bracket.
Yeah, we could
Do
disagree.
we both
with each
agree
other
on Cleveland?
Yeah, we both
We
agree on
got Cleveland.
Then it's just the Jets.
I have Denver and Pittsburgh.
Denver and Pittsburgh. I got the Jets and Houston.
You want to take one of each?
Sure. Which
You
one?
rather-
Which one are you most
Okay,
confident?
which one do you want from me? Do you want Denver or Pittsburgh?
You tell me. Which one are you more confident in? You choose him. I'll choose the one I'm more confident in. Because they're both different teams anyway, right?
I love Pittsburgh's defense. Minka Fitzpatrick's amazing. TJ Watt is big time. They're great, and they're 7 playoff teams. I think I think Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and Denver will get in. But I'll go Denver. I feel like they have an easier division. Like they just got Kansas City,
Right.
where Pittsburgh's gonna have Baltimore. They're gonna have twice a year. They're gonna have the Browns twice a year. Joe Burrow twice a year. So yeah, I'll go. I think Denver should be my team.
I got to go with Houston.
Houston
sorry,
over
Gav.
the
I'm
Jets?
just more confident in Houston than I am the Jets. I'm sorry.
It's okay, Joe. You know what? I don't even blame you at this point.
We put a Jets jersey up 2 episodes ago,
We
Gab,
did.
so you can't say we're anti-Jets.
No, absolutely
And
not.
if I lose that Denver bet, the Nugget bet, I got to wear a Jets hat.
Oh,
So-
for you.
That's gonna
Yeah,
be
and
fun.
poor me. So we'll go 1 through 4. We already said we have Browns top wild card.
Yeah.
Browns 5. Houston or Denver 6.
I would say Houston.
All
but-
right, Houston 6,
yeah.
Denver 7. So Gav, we have Kansas City's the 1 seed, gets a bye. We have Baltimore.
Right?
We have
Buffalo.
Buffalo,
Tennessee.
Tennessee. Then we have Browns 5, Texans 6, Broncos 7.
Yeah.
Roger that.
So now we go to the National Football Conference.
Yes, sir.
Gav, we got
Who we starting off with,
NFC?
Gav?
Yeah, I'll read them out to you guys. So we have the NFC East,
Mhm.
Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, or Redskins.
Biases aside, I got to go Cowboys. They're just the,
I'm
the
thinking
better team. Especially now they added McCarthy and everything. I think that they're
I
the
might
much
go
better team.
Cowboys as well. I think
Yeah.
the Eagles are going to make the playoffs. It's a wild card.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'll go Dallas. There's too much talent.
Yeah,
It
you
all
can't.
depends. What if Dak's the one kicker, eh?
Well, Dex,
Let's see if
he
he's
signed
worth-
the franchise, right?
Let's see if he's worth
yeah.
it. Let's see if he's worth it.
He's got a lot to prove now, so he better go out there and throw for 50
Yeah, I'll go
touchdowns.
Dallas. I mean, the talent's just absurd. And then, you know what else I realized they added? They got Clinton Dix as corner. I totally
That's a good
forgot about
pickup.
that.
That's a really good pickup.
You lose Byron Jones, get Clinton Dix. Not a bad replacement.
No, not bad at
So
all.
we got Dallas in the East, Gav.
All right, now we're going to go to the North. Packers, Vikings, Bears, or Lions.
If Trubisky doesn't play, and Foles plays, I like Chicago. That's a big if.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Unless he gets
On
benched.
that note, I'm going to pick the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, Green Bay didn't do anything in the offseason.
Yeah, I want to say Green Bay because I love Aaron Rodgers, but
There's nothing.
they had a terrible draft. They didn't do anything in the offseason. You got to go Minnesota.
They did lose Stephon Diggs, but they
Yeah,
got they drafted another receiver. I forget from where. I'm drawing a blank. But Adam Thielen's great. Dalvin Cook's great. And that defense is no joke.
And honestly, I didn't think Stephon Diggs really wanted to be there anyway.
Yeah, he's a bit of a diva.
I think him and Adam Thielen, there was too much, not enough passes for both of them,
Yeah.
I think.
And they still Treadwell's his name is?
Yeah, he's
Still
a
there?
solid guy. Yeah.
Solid receivers all
Latavius
around.
Treadwell or
And
whatever.
Dalvin Cook is a
Right,
hell of a back.
he's gonna have a good year.
And he wants to be paid like one, but he's holding out. But I feel like
I
he'll
don't think
be
he's
there
holding
when
out
the
for
season
long.
comes
I think so
around.
too.
Yeah. So we got Minnesota in the North, Gav.
Now we're going down south to the Saints, Falcons, Buccaneers, and Panthers.
I got the Bucks. I was going with it all year. They are too talented, and they got the greatest quarterback of all time at the helm.
Tommy, I hate to disagree with you here, but I gotta go with the Saints.
The locker room's done, man.
I know, but
It's messed
reason,
up.
I don't know. The way I see it is that the Saints, they've had all these years together. The better team. They've been to the playoffs. They've been there before. Bucks, they just added all these new pieces. Who knows how they're gonna mesh right away? You know, it might take them 2 or 3 games to get used to each other, right?
I just saying, and we know we don't want to get political here. The Drew Brees statements that came out, and then Malcolm Jenkins they brought in, and he didn't like what he said. And Michael Thomas got mad about what Drew Brees said. I don't know what's wrong with the locker room there.
That is a good point, but
I don't know.
You got to hope that they reconciled, right?
It's going to be close. I feel like those are the 2 best teams in the NFC, along with San Francisco.
Yeah.
Oh, man, Gav, it's the tiebreaker. New Orleans or Tampa Bay?
You guys bring up good. Well, Tommy, you have to go Tampa Bay. You have to.
Well, I picked them to get out of the NFC.
But yeah, it's you guys bring up good points. I mean, the locker room is a massive part, especially in football. Because hey, the O-line, you can just say, you know what? I know what Breeze said. I'm gonna let this one slip, Tommy.
Exactly.
We've all done it on the O-line.
Yeah.
So
no question.
Like it's complicated. I see the Saints coming. As much as I love the Buccaneers,
Oh my God!
You asked for my opinion. I'm giving my opinion.
It's just you and Johnny are taking arms against me
Absolutely
again.
not.
Well,
No,
that's 'cause
absolutely not.
we're the side of reasons
Do
here.
you want to put? You want to?
No.
Want to bet on this too?
Well,
No.
hey, I'm not done. I'm still talking. I like Tampa Bay and Gronk. You know, it's gonna be great there. I could see it going either way. I mean, it's easier to say the Saints because we've seen them. Who knows? Tom could just hate playing in Tampa. He could just
I doubt
not
that.
be him. I doubt it,
Right.
but you never know.
I
So,
think we're forgetting about how we just look at Gronk and Brady. I don't think Gronk's even going to play that big of a role.
I think he's gonna be a decoy for most of the season.
O.J. Howard, Cameron Brate, and then you got the 2 best wide receivers, arguably in football, or the best duo
2 top 5, yeah.
in Godwin and Evans. I mean, I have nothing for that.
you know what? I think I'm just gonna.
No.
I'll go out
If
on
you
a
go
limb here.
If you go New Orleans.
No, I don't know.
It's totally
I
fine.
think I'll go out on a limb and say the Buccaneers. I mean, what makes it
You ju-
interesting? Why not?
Thank you.
And just
Hey.
you know,
Yeah, everyone's allowed their opinion here, Tommy.
So we're going Tampa. We
Sure,
want to be
stick
original.
Tampa.
I think like everyone's going New Orleans.
because
But
it's
Tampa
easy.
Bay,
it's easy
baby.
it's easy to go. I mean, it's
Go,
a risk here.
Go
taking
Bucks in the NFC. In the NFC only.
Joe Bucks.
Joe Buck, exactly. So Johnny got outvoted for the first time ever on the Tommy John Show. Usually I get outvoted.
Mark down the date.
Mark down the date. Do you want to go New Orleans over Tampa on your board?
I
Or you're coming around?
don't know. I want to do. I'm just. Yeah, let's do it.
All right,
Let's
he's
do
going to go New Orleans.
Let's do it.
Shoot. You got this, Johnny.
I got this.
So I don't have to write it down, right? Because Gavin went on a limb. Good job, Gav. Delane has been reunited.
Oh,
After
I didn't know it had been separated.
Well, no. When you pick Denver, you pick
Okay,
Johnny
okay, I
over
see,
me.
I see.
No, when you picked Houston, and then you both picked Connor over Canelo. I know.
Well, that's just, you said yourself.
I said he's
right.
the favorite. I didn't. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, excuse me for playing the odds here.
Yeah. Gap likes the odds. You got that? Is it NO over Tampa?
No,
No over TB.
Tampa Bay. Or Tom Brady. Either
Tom
way.
Brady.
Yeah. Or DB over TB. So we got Tampa. So Johnny thinks New Orleans is going to be better than Tampa.
Yeah.
But for today's sake, because we're doing a joint bracket, it's Tampa over New Orleans. But New Orleans is definitely a wild card team.
Yeah.
Yeah, we go out west, and probably the best division in
Yeah.
football this year.
We'll go out west. We have the Niners, the Seahawks, the Rams, and the Cardinals.
That is tasty. I think San Fran.
Yeah,
think so
I got
too.
San Fran.
All right, all on the board. We know you do. You have to.
Oh,
unless
yeah.
You're fired. So.
I mean, you remember we did a pool like this year. Remember I stole San Fran in the 3rd round?
You did.
That was the steal of the draft. And I got Tennessee in the 4th round. And who knew
Right.
Chicago and Atlanta would lay eggs the way they did? Shout out to Mitchell Trubisky. So we both got San Fran, but Seattle's right there too.
Yes, I think Seattle's going to be the wild card. Or one of the wild cards.
All right. So Gav,
So now we'll
wild
go
cards?
Yeah, we'll do wild cards now. What do you guys think?
So Johnny, what are your 3 wild card teams? And we'll see if any of mine are different.
Seahawks.
Oh. Hello.
I'm debating
Tampa?
this here. No, yeah, well, obviously Tampa. Yeah.
Oh,
No,
but
that's
New
not. That's
Orleans,
not.
New
That's not what I was
Orleans.
thinking.
Yeah, New Orleans.
Yeah, New Orleans. But I was thinking. I was debating. I like the Rams. I don't know. I know.
I
you-
like the Rams
Yeah,
too.
I just don't know about 3 playoff teams from the same conference. I don't know about that. I can't see that happening.
I like Philly too.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll go Philly, New Orleans. I don't think Green Bay gets in. I don't know. They went 13-3 last year. It'd be foolish for us not to pick them. But the Rams are really good.
Yeah.
So we have Seahawks. We have no. Okay, I'm
it?
going Seahawks, Saints, and Eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, same. We got that.
Seahawks, Saints, and Eagles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even
Yeah.
though I hate not picking Green Bay, but they haven't
didn't
done
do
anything.
much. And I feel like last year they had an easy schedule.
do
It was
anything.
a fluke. When they played San Fran twice,
Yeah.
the Super Bowl for them basically, their chance to take control of the NFC, they got destroyed. And Aaron Rodgers isn't getting any younger, and then Jordan Love's there. It's just a mess.
Yeah, I don't agree with that draft pick at all. I don't get the point of it. But so now we're gonna put them in order.
Put them in order. You got this, Johnny.
I got this.
I think New Orleans is gonna be number one wild card. Obviously.
Let's go. San Fran, Tampa, Philly.
No, we're doing Dallas. It's Dallas or
Dallas, right.
Minnesota.
Dallas, Minnesota, then New Orleans, Philly, and who am I missing?
What'd you say? Seattle?
Seattle. So New Orleans, Seattle,
Philly. I do that. I'll do the same wild card as you. Mm-hmm. And then, I have San Fran 1, Tampa 2. Minnesota, Dallas is tasty. I'll go Minnesota 3, Dallas 4. But no, we picked Tampa, so I'll go Dallas 3, Minnesota 4.
Sounds good.
So, Gav, you got that down?
Yes. So we have Minnesota 4, Dallas 3.
Yeah. And then we have the Niners 1 and Bucks 2.
And then New Orleans,
Seattle,
Philly.
Tasty.
Very tasty.
Interesting.
High stakes, but
I do kind of like Arizona too a bit, to be honest with you. I do like Arizona.
3 teams changes it, but I realized I forgot how stacked the NFC is.
Yeah, there's a lot of good teams.
Even though they haven't won a Super Bowl in years. Well, 3 years. AFC's won the last 2, but...
Right.
I mean, the NFC's got so many guys. Like, I could easily see the Rams making it. I could see the Cardinals making it. I could see the Packers, the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many teams. Carolina's a sleeper, too. And Atlanta is... You have no idea what you're going to get. Atlanta can easily make the playoffs as well.
Right, yeah, they're always a decent team.
That division.
What do things happening next?
So now we'll do...
AFC playoff.
Yeah.
So we got the 1 seed gets a bye. So Kansas City has a bye. So then 2 plays 7, 3 plays 6, 4 plays 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have the Ravens versus the Broncos. Who's winning that?
Ravens.
Yeah.
That's a good game, though. Very good game. But I could hold up. I could see that as a Tennessee formula going on. Because they can. Denver can run the ball, and they have an amazing defense. So if they can keep Lamar Jackson off the field,
theoretically,
like do the same thing Tennessee did, I could see that happening. I won't for the sake of this bracket. But if that happens, and then we're in January, I might switch my pick. But right now, we got Baltimore.
All right. Next, we got Bills, Texans.
Bills. That's going to be...
That's a good matchup.
January in Buffalo is freezing. And the snow. Josh Allen's got a huge arm. Yeah. This is a rematch of last year, but in Buffalo, New York. So we got the Bills.
Yeah, like the Bills.
All right, and then finally, we got Titans and the Browns.
That's tough.
Tasty.
That's tough.
Is that a new word for you, tasty?
I like tasty. I like tasty.
Like the social media company, Tasty?
Tasty. I need to get Tasty t-shirts.
That'd be good, yeah.
Tommy John merch, Tasty. What's other words you can use for Tommy John shirts? We'll come up with them. Tommy John merch coming soon, by the way, people. Tasty would be funny. No chance. I love people saying no chance.
Yeah, no chance. We could get a little picture of you guys drinking some warm beer. You know, gross. That'd be a cool little shirt.
That's gross.
You guys did
a lot of things, but we're not there yet.
Gruesome.
Yeah.
Gruesome.
Oh, yeah. I can get some
nice.
There you go.
All right, let's focus.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay,
going on a tangent here.
So we have all the 4. So we have Kansas City, which has a bye. Yeah. Baltimore, Buffalo, and Tennessee.
Did we pick Tennessee? We didn't pick that one yet.
Did we not pick
that? No, we didn't pick that. Yeah, no.
Assuming.
What do you think, Tommy? What do you think?
I'll go Baker's first playoff game. I'll go Tennessee.
I agree with you. Just based off past experiences, yeah.
Baker's first playoff game. The Browns haven't been in the playoffs since the Stone Age.
Very true.
I mean, I feel like it's gonna be too big for them. But they're on the come up.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like it's gonna be a good year. I hope it's a good year for Baker, for Browns fans' sake. But yeah.
All right, so now we'll go down to the NFC.
Yes.
And we will take a look. We got the Niners with a bye, obviously. Then we got Tampa Bay taking on Philadelphia.
Tampa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No question.
Head and shoulders.
Head and shoulders.
All right, next up,
Patrick Mahomes.
we got the Cowboys and the Seahawks.
Seahawks.
That's
Oh.
an upset there.
That is an
Russell Wilson goes into Jerry World.
I just don't want Dallas to win that game.
There's a little bit of bias there too, but I feel like Seattle could be up there this year. San Fran was amazing.
Seattle was a good
there
team, man. Yeah, Seattle's always seems year round they're a good team.
because I think Russell Wilson's a top 2-3 quarterback in the National Football League.
He doesn't get the respect he deserves.
He hasn't won an MVP. Here's the thing.
He didn't
I
get
feel like
MVP
Russell
votes.
Wilson could win the MVP this year. They don't like giving it to people 2 times. Like Mahomes could win it.
True, they don't like twice in a row.
No. Russell Wilson's, I feel like, he's going to be up
Could
there.
be.
So, Seattle over Dallas. And if you remember the last game of the year against San Fran? They would have won the game. They would have been the 1 seed. And San Fran would have been a wild card.
Oh, I think,
remember the guy got stopped at the 1 yard line?
Right. We reached for it.
Yeah.
I know exactly.
If
what
Seattle
you're
won that
talking
game, people forget. They
Yeah,
would have won the
that's
NFC
very
West.
true.
So Seattle's a great team,
Yeah.
led by one of the best players in football.
about. For sure.
Seattle over Dallas. They go
Alright.
in the Jerry World
I
and
can
beat
see
the
that.
Cowboys.
All right, and next we have the Vikings taking on New Orleans.
New
New
Orleans.
Orleans.
Get redemption for last year.
Yeah.
Seems like Minnesota always has New Orleans' number. The Philly
They do, huh?
special. Not the Philly special. I'm saying
The Minneapolis Miracle.
Minneapolis Miracle.
It's just they always play each other in the playoffs
Yeah.
too.
And then last year, remember you won some
Right.
money on that?
Yes, I did.
We were both cheering for Minnesota that game.
That was a good game.
Great game. But I feel like New Orleans redemption tour against Minnesota.
Mhm.
On the road too. In
Very
Minneapolis.
Very
All
nice.
right, so it's looking good. So in the NFC we have San Francisco, Tampa Bay, Seattle, and New Orleans.
So we picked 2 wild cards in that.
We
Right,
did.
so
Huh?
interesting. We're making it interesting. I like it. I
Johnny.
like it.
Huh?
We're all about the upsets here. We
All
like
right,
we like a
so-
good underdog.
Let's see what happens next. So we'll see in the AFC who is making it out in the
So
AFC.
who we got? Who's
We
the
got
first
Chiefs
Chiefs versus Tennessee.
rematch.
matchup?
Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
Chiefs.
And then
Kinda.
Baltimore Buffalo, which is a good game.
Oh.
Very good game.
Baltimore Buffalo.
I'll go Buffalo.
I'm inclined
I'm
to
gonna-
agree with you, Tommy. I'm inclined.
Because everyone's picking Baltimore,
Yeah.
Kansas City. Everyone. So let's change it up.
I would like to see Buffalo. So yeah,
Yeah,
Buffalo.
Not
All right,
because
let's
of
do
Josh
Buffalo.
Allen.
Let's
They
do
got
Buffalo.
Stephon Diggs.
I think
do it. Let's
yeah.
do it. Let's do it.
I mean, come on.
I agree.
Let's do it.
I agree.
We gotta
All right,
lose. We gotta
and
lose.
then we may as well see who makes it out: Kansas City or Buffalo.
Kansas City.
Kansas City.
All right, so Kansas City.
We're going
to
on
the
a
Super
limb,
Bowl.
eh? Kansas City.
Kansas City going to
I
the
just
Super
say
Bowl. So
I
far,
feel like we're
looking
gonna
good for
have.
Johnny.
I feel like now that we're at the NFC, we're gonna have a little issue here because I'm gonna be going San Fran.
Yeah,
And Tom's gonna be
you
going
have to.
Bucks.
You have to.
And Tom's gonna have to go Bucks.
So we're
So
gonna
we have a little bit
but
of
let's
a-
go through the matchup.
Okay, well,
I think we have Saints Bucks.
We do have Saints. No,
Oh.
no. I think we
we
have
do.
San Francisco, New Orleans, and then.
No, because we picked Seattle, and Seattle's worse than
Okay.
New Orleans,
okay. Right. I could.
Yeah, Seattle was the 6th. New Orleans was the 5.
So it's gonna be San Fran, Seattle. So we have division games, baby, rivalry games.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay,
That's really
so
nice.
San Fran or Seattle? Who do you have?
San Fran.
You
It's
have to, yeah.
close. I could easily see. Now I don't have. I can easily see Seattle winning that game.
Me
But
too, but I think San Fran has the
For your
edge.
sake, I'll pick San Fran.
All right,
Appreciate
very
it, Tom.
very kind man.
Appreciate
But I
it.
could easily see Seattle winning
So
that game.
far
Me too.
we're on track for. All right, now we
But
have.
Jimmy G's the question mark. Is if Jimmy G stinks, then
Yeah, if he throws 3 passes the whole game.
they better get that bye. There's no way he's playing 4 games in a row.
And then
Good games
Tampa,
in a
New
row.
Orleans.
Tampa. You're gonna pick New Orleans, right? It's in Tampa Bay.
In Tampa.
But you picked New Orleans to. I mean, Brady in the clutch. I mean, come on.
Oh, yeah, I guess I did do that, huh?
You picked New Orleans, but that's just to win a division, right? Or is
Yeah, that was
just
that
in
was a
general?
division type thing, not in the playoffs.
We'll specify later on the board. It's division. He means.
Yeah,
but
I should have wrote that down.
in the NFC. So you have Tampa.
We'll do it after.
Yeah, I
after
got it.
recording.
So Tampa, San Francisco.
Tampa, San Francisco.
I have Tampa.
I got San Francisco.
All right, so
We go.
Flip a coin.
We
We'll have
go
to go
to
to
the
the judges' score.
scorecards. Yeah, exactly.
we go to the judges' scorecard. All right.
So Gavin's the tiebreaker. It
I'm the
can't
tie-
be. What are the odds? It's the same Super Bowl.
I mean, yeah, what are the odds it's the same
I would
Super
love
Bowl?
to see that.
But it's looking like that right now.
I know.
Here, week 1, ask me. I'll be able to tell you. This Tampa Bay, the real deal.
Exactly.
As for
That's
now,
the
it's a
thing.
lot easier to say San Francisco. I mean, they just came out of a Super Bowl. They lost. But they just came out of a Super Bowl.
Where were they a year ago when I got them in the 3rd round? No one was talking about San Francisco.
Yeah, no one was talking. So that's a good question. I mean,
Very true.
it's fun to say
Are you
to
gonna
go out on a limb and say Tampa. I want to say Tampa Bay. You know,
You're going to pick Jimmy
I want him
Garoppolo
to
over
do it.
Tom Brady in this game?
See, here's the thing. Johnny
44-year-old
is
Tom
quiet.
Brady,
So
but
if I disagree
43.
with Johnny,
Just
he's not
saying.
going to yell at me. If I disagree
No.
with Tommy,
No. Go
He's gonna
gut.
see it.
Go with your
I
gut.
get that, Gavin.
Go with your
you
gut.
do
It's
you,
in
man.
San Francisco, like there'll be fans anyway.
and you're right. What are the odds it's a repeat of the last year's Super
Well,
Bowl?
no.
That's
My
tough.
point is, if I don't think there's a chance in hell Jimmy Garoppolo outplays Tom Brady.
He doesn't
But
have
that's
to.
the thing.
He doesn't
If
have
he
to,
hands
though.
the ball off and they get
That's the
37
thing.
points,
He doesn't have to outplay him. He's got the defense and the running back. He just has to get in there and not turn the ball
that's
over.
going to be a great game. All
It's going to be a good game regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Gav's the pick. I went Tampa, or Tampa, I think we're calling them now, just
Oh.
because I don't think. What are the odds it's the same Super Bowl again?
What-
Probably
Slim.
likely.
I'll
I
go-
don't know.
I'll
A
go-
lot of people do that. The same Super Bowls
And
last year.
It's not like these guys are like two of the worst teams either,
It's
right?
easy
Kansas
to
City is
say-
for sure the pick in the AFC. And
The NFC's stacked.
Yeah.
Like I could see Seattle beating San Fran. Like
yeah, I could see him losing 3 times on the way to the playoffs, but
yeah.
what are you going to do?
All right, so I'm going to go Tampa Bay.
Oh my goodness.
I'm going to go Tampa Bay.
Yes, Gav's redeeming himself
Because I don't
after
get
that
yelled at.
Houston blunder
Yeah.
against
And-
Denver.
Here's
in
what the
NBA
verbal
I'm still
assault.
an intern, so if I ever want to get onto the payroll, I'm just going to agree with Tommy. I'm kidding.
Well, Johnny has just as much power as me. So.
Do I? Do I?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good to know.
Well, yeah.
As we're in Tommy's garage. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna
You're going Tampa.
it's gonna be a great game. It could be a toss up, but I'm gonna go out on a limb like I did.
We're
before.
really drinking the Kool-Aid big time on Tampa Bay, just
Yeah,
on
we
pure
are.
paper. But it's not like the Cleveland of last year because it's Tom Brady.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
not
won
he's got-
Baker
six.
exactly.
Mayfield.
He has that reputation that Baker didn't have.
And Mike Evans, Godwin, I mean, just absurd. And their defense was one of the best defense in the league the
Yeah,
second
good
half of the
defense.
season. Todd Bowles is a great coordinator, and Bruce Arians is a hell of a head coach,
Yeah,
better than Freddie Kitchens.
They went, 8-8 last year with
They went 7-9.
7-9
Jameis
with-
threw 30
Exactly.
interceptions and spotted the team over 120 points.
And imagine if
That's a playoff.
imagine if they put like an average quarterback instead of
And it ain't
Jameis.
average. This is the greatest
Yeah,
quarterback of all
exactly.
time, who still has a lot in the tank, in my opinion. So, Gav, this is it. Super Bowl 55.
Is it Super Bowl 55? So
I don't know where they're playing it.
Super Bowl 55. Let's look at we'll look at one and then we'll look at the other.
In the
So-
Marriott lobby,
Yeah.
because we can't have no fans.
It's gonna be played
In
at
the ballroom.
Ed Mahar.
Yeah, Ed
No.
Mahar.
So we're gonna have Kansas City
Mhm.
versus San Francisco for the first. We'll look at both hypothetical situations here. So
I
Johnny,
appreciate that.
who's winning your version of Super Bowl 55? Is it?
If you want to hear my thing now, the spread, I think it's Kansas City minus 4.5 or 3.5 in the Super Bowl.
Is that what this past year's?
I think it was I think it was even. Or it was close to even. I think it was 3 points. I would have thought San Fran was the favorites going.
Normally
into that.
you give 3 points to the home team anyway, though, right?
Yeah.
4.5?
I don't think it'd be a 5.5.
No, not
3.5,
no chance.
4.5.
Unless someone gets hurt, but
We'll go 3.5.
yeah, I'll give it 3.5. Minus
So Kansas
3.5,
City
Kansas
3.5 minus 3.5. I think what the line would be if the Super Bowl was tomorrow.
So we
Johnny,
said
go for it.
honestly, I like San Fran over Kansas City. I think that they
But
almost.
that's not the Super Bowl.
Are we doing
got
both
overruled.
scenarios?
Oh, we're doing both
Oh,
Oh,
scenarios.
yeah, I just said we're
Yeah,
doing
we
both
did both scenarios, yeah,
hypothetical
of
course.
situations.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, so
We're
that's why-
respecting both sides. Yeah.
Appreciate that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Different Super Bowl.
Because
Yeah.
by contract, Johnny had to say that. If he hadn't written that on the
Hey,
first
it's
episode,
on
who
You're
paper.
knows?
thinking Kansas City again?
No, I got San
San
Fran.
Fran.
Yeah, I think that they hold on to it this time and get the win. I think Kansas City. The only reason they won that game is because San Fran
Poor
fell
clock
apart.
management.
Poor clock, poor coaching.
San Francisco was the better football team
Yeah.
in that game, no question. And I'm a kind of agree with you. If San Francisco were to play San Fran, I think San Francisco beats them. But the beauty of sports, not all matchups are the same.
Right. Very true.
Now,
And-
if it's Tampa Bay and
Kansas
Tampa
City.
Bay and Kansas City, that's tough. I know you're gonna say Tampa Bay.
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going.
I can't like. I feel bad saying Tampa over Kansas City because Tampa's got zero like.
We don't know. Tampa's
Exactly.
a
You
wild card.
have no idea what's gonna happen. You go first, Tommy. What do you think?
I'll be rooting my butt off for Tampa Bay. I know that.
Who do you think's gonna win?
Gut feeling, Kansas City. But I mean, I haven't seen Tampa, and we picked them to go all the way to the Super Bowl.
There's lots of ifs here.
I mean, Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, you just know it's insane.
Mm-hmm.
And Kansas City's defense isn't great. That's the one hope. You know, my gut says Kansas City. My heart says Tampa. Heart over gut. So I'm picking Tampa.
Okay, Tampa.
But I'm not very confident.
All I know is I would not be surprised if Tampa Bay is 10-6 team or.
But they still get in at
7. I know, but that's not better than Kansas City though. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're
one
gonna be
game.
a good team.
One game. That's the beauty of the Super Bowl.
I know.
Right?
That's why I gotta go.
Playoffs.
I gotta go Kansas City.
Gav, you're the decider in our scenario. So if San Fran makes it, we both have San Fran.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
So if Tampa Bay makes it, because I feel like Tampa matches well against San Fran, and Kansas City, Tampa is not a. And
Yeah.
Brady's 2-1 against Mahomes all time, and they play each other this season, so that'll be a tell sign as well.
For sure.
Yeah, but gut feeling, I agree. I think Kansas City. Gut. Because it's very hard to say.
Yeah, I
It's very
can't.
hard to say who's.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like Brady might have the game of his life in the Super Bowl just because it
Yeah,
might
but
be
so
his
could
last shot.
so
at
could
it.
Jimmy G. Jimmy G could throw for
Well,
500
we're not-
yards.
I'm talking about the Super Bowl. I think San Francisco's winning.
Not Jimmy G.
Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes.
He
Sorry.
didn't look good last Super Bowl.
That's
the
one
fourth
game.
quarter.
Who knows?
So I guess we have if San Francisco gets the Super Bowl, we have San Francisco. But if Tampa Bay gets there, I pick Tampa on heart. But gut, I think Kansas City.
Yeah.
And you think Kansas City. As you should. They've won. The last team to repeat a Super Bowl? The New England Patriots, 2004, 2005.
Wow. Good to know.
By
And
the way-
guess who would be in this Super Bowl? Tom Brady.
Another opportunity for merch. Drink the Kool-Aid.
Drinking the Kool-Aid
We haven't
is
said
another
it
name
yet.
for the
Yeah.
merch.
I like that.
Are you writing this down? We got someone writing this down. Drinking the Kool-Aid. That's hilarious. But I wonder if parents would let their kids buy drinking the Kool-Aid shirts.
Well,
Yeah, who doesn't love Kool-Aid?
at this
right?
stage, it's not many parents.
Some
It's going to be
Jones-
kids buying it themselves. It's a Jonestown
The
reference.
Jonestown
Yeah, I know.
merch.
We'll keep that low key. The
We'll
Jonestown
ask,
merch.
we'll ask Mr. Jones if we can.
Yeah,
use his
yeah.
credit. No,
We'll
okay.
call him
alright.
up.
Serious.
We go to
Serious.
that island. We're never coming back. Is that a touchy subject?
Yeah, we probably just dropped this.
That
right
was
now.
that was bad.
We
That was
should've
bad.
talked about this.
I think it's like one of
We go and interview.
Too
we're not
soon,
coming
Tommy.
back.
it's one of
Too
humanity's.
soon.
If we went in the
subjects.
70s, we weren't coming back after that interview.
Fight Island.
Oh, we're going off the rails.
Yeah.
No,
All right.
we'll just cut it out.
Yeah.
All right.
No. I feel like we have to. Keep
Okay,
it
so
there.
we have San Francisco winning one reality, one alternate reality.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
Kansas City and San Francisco. We have San Francisco winning the rematch, and then finally, in
If
Tommy's
it-
version, Kansas City versus Tampa Bay. Kansas City will prevail.
No.
You
Whoa,
give
whoa. My gut.
Your gut
says
tells. Okay, I
Kansas
was going with
City,
your gut.
but I'm picking Tampa.
Okay.
Just because I can't pick against Tom Brady, but I have a feeling Kansas City's gonna win. So I know that makes no sense whatsoever.
You're right.
I mean, maybe it does. my gut says Kansas City, but I'm not picking them
Hey, you get
just
it,
because
man.
I can't pick against Tom Brady in the Super Bowl.
I get that. That is true. It's always a bad bet to bet against Tom Brady in
Yeah.
the Super Bowl.
I mean, the Super Bowls he lost was a helmet catch,
I remember it.
the Mario Manningham catch, and Wes Welker dropping the ball, and him throwing for 500 yards, and Nick Foles torching Belichick's defense.
Philly special.
Philly special. That's well it's summed up by. So Gav great job, everyone. Gav and Johnny, great job. I
Thank
know
you.
that's tough. We didn't even get to your Giants making the playoffs. I think we're like 5 years away from that.
We got a lot of time for that, man.
Same with my Patriots. You know, we draft Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields because we're going to be a bottom 5 team. You know,
Ooh.
the rebuild's quick. Who
Trevor-
knows? I'm just
Trevor
going on a
Lawrence
limb.
to the
I'm
Pats.
going on a limb. So that was a great episode today, jam-packed.
For sure.
Episode 5 of the Tommy John Show. We always want to thank the fans / listeners for their opinions. They kept throwing ideas at us for games. We're doing it. NFL predictions. We can do. It can change 20 times
sure.
during the season.
For sure.
Injuries come into play.
Injuries, trades, all that stuff.
Exactly.
Especially with COVID now, is all extra layer of danger for these players. Who knows if
Absolutely.
what's going to happen, you know?
So, Gav, do you want to give us a run through the show for us a
Yep.
bit?
First of all, thank you guys for again doing what you guys do best, talking it out. We touched upon a lot of subjects. We hit all the bases.
Oh,
starting
pun
with
intended.
baseball. Yeah.
Ho-ho.
We returned to baseball. That was fun. Spoke a little bit about hockey and the hub cities. Basketball, going over to Florida. We spoke a little bit about the UFC, which was interesting. And obviously we wrapped
Canelo
up
versus Connor. The
I
theoretical,
totally
the
forgot.
hypothetical.
And then, of course, we finished with the NFL predictions. Want to thank you guys again for all the hard work you do. The guys behind the camera, mainly Kennedy Lane. Thank you
Yeah.
very much for that.
Shout out to Kennedy.
Shout out to Kennedy, absolutely. If you like what you saw, don't be shy to check out some of our other videos on youtube.ca. I don't know, a little known website. Maybe you've seen it.
Yep.
We also have plenty of other social media sites such as Instagram at the Tommy John Show, Twitter, Tommy John Show _ nailed it. And then we also have a website that is in the works coming soon. And we mentioned, if you guys were listening, we got potentially some merch coming down the pipeline. And obviously for everything else, like us on Facebook, the Tommy John Show. Tommy, back to you.
All right, thank you, Gaff, for going through. Made my job way easier there. You went through all the handles, and you're right. The possible merch. If you want like sayings that we say on the merch, please give us a shout out. Drink the Kool-Aid's my favorite right now, or Tasty.
I like gruesome.
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 If you want
Yeah.
a gruesome Gavin Delaney shirt, or just that would be cool. We need one for you, Johnny.
Well, when
Yeah,
I
we
go
gotta think of
solo,
a
I can
nickname.
sell the gruesome myself.
Yeah, you're gonna have to
Whoa,
buy-
it's under the Tommy John Show
you're gonna
parent
have to buy
brand.
us out. You're gonna have to buy us
No,
out. of
okay,
that
but
contract.
Johnny, I don't know.
What?
Just Johnny's face. I'd buy a shirt with Johnny's face.
Just my face
Who
on it?
wouldn't?
I don't
Who
even
wouldn't?
care.
He's single. He's not single, ladies. He's fucked up.
Vanessa's
I was
one.
gonna say he's single, ladies, but I realized
That's
nope.
it, yeah.
still-
She might be watching
He's
this.
taking ladies. He's taking ladies.
You might just got me in a lot of trouble there.
All right, so without further ado,
Yeah, well, we want to thank all of you watching the Tommy John Show. Remember, like Gav said, smash that subscribe button, smash that like button, follow us on all our platforms. Johnny, any last words?
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.